From Glendale, Arizona, Camelback Ranch, Cactus League action rolls on. The Dodgers and the White Sox. Opening day now just 2 weeks away when Monday rolls around this week. And we say welcome inside with Oral and Nomar. I'm Joe Davis, and Alana Rizzo joins us in just a moment. And guys, I'm happy to see, Oral, that you guys both reported to camp in the best shape of your life.
Not as good a shape as you two, and you definitely have brought the average age down in this booth. But I am excited today because we've got two great pitchers on the mound with Chris Sale and Clayton Kershaw going for us.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets, Nomar, and as we roll into this 2016 season. What is it that you're most looking forward to seeing?
I want to see if the Dodgers can defend and get their fourth straight NL West title, especially with their new manager, Dave Roberts, at the helm. We all know the NL West has definitely gotten stronger.
Yeah, we're all excited to be along for the ride as we get this season going on a perfect day for baseball in Arizona. It's the Dodgers and the White Sox. Chris Sale against birthday boy Clayton Kershaw, celebrating number 28 today. First pitch coming up. Hershiser, Nomar Garcia-Parr upstairs for Dodgers and White Sox today, and patrolling the field for us all day today is Alana Rizzo.
All right, guys, thanks very much, and welcome to camp. It's nice to have you guys here. Joe Davis, welcome to our broadcast. Clayton Kershaw on the hill today, of course, and we always say spring training numbers don't matter. They do matter to Clayton. Only a .90 ERA. Dave Roberts earlier today saying Clayton Kershaw is going to go about 5 innings or 75 pitches, whichever comes first. My guess is that's hopefully 5 innings for Clayton Kershaw. The birthday boys. Back upstairs to you guys.
All right, Alana, yeah, 28 years old today. And he'll face off against Chris Sale, the 6'6", 190-pounder. Will face off with this Dodgers lineup, which is a very spring training-like lineup. Not many guys locked into the spots defensively that they'll be during the opening day lineup. Kike Hernandez is at shortstop with Corey Seager still out. Kendrick could see him batting second this year, but won't play a ton of time at third base. Van Slyke, Guerrero, and Ellis to the middle part. Barnes, Thompson, Herrera, and the speedster Rico Noel Down to the bottom of Dave Roberts' lineup. Nomar Garciaparra, how are you getting your hits off of Chris Sale?
Well, let me see. Chris Sale, the guy who had the American League best with 274 strikeouts last year, also set in a franchise record. I mean, he's going to come at you with a three-quarter delivery, almost sidearm delivery at 94 to 98 mile per hour. Fastball, a slider that seems like he's throwing it from the second baseman, you know, when it's coming out. He is very, very tough. I say recommend get on him early.
This is his first Cactus League start. He started on Monday in the backfields in a B game against the Dodgers through 75 pitches, but his first appearance in an official Cactus League game starts with a 1-1 count on Kike Hernandez.
As Nomar says, when you're facing a Chris Sale and a Clayton Kershaw, the two guys on the mound today, early in the count, when you see something straight or hard, you want to swing at it. You get to their secondary pitches, their wipeout sliders, their wipeout breaking balls. You're in for a long day.
Here's a 2-1, and Hernandez fouls it off 2-2. Third time Kike's hit in the leadoff spot this spring. I think one thing that we're seeing as this spring has rolled on, and as Dave Roberts has talked about it to the media, is that this team's not necessarily going to have one bona fide leadoff hitter. There's not really one guy that profiles as such.
No, and you know, for Kike, I mean, one thing about Kike, you know, here finding him leading off right now is he's done a tremendous job, even coming into last year. Man, he didn't break with the team at a camp last year, and then finds himself, you know, being a meaningful part at the end of the season.
Checks on Todd Frazier at third. The first-year White Sox throws him out. First out of the game.
And the one thing about Kike is, you know, he took advantage of the opportunity last year to really, like we said, make an impact. But here, once again now, looks like he's going to be opening this year with the club. But he also has an opportunity to show what he can do at the leadoff spot. Maybe they're going to look at him as a possible, you know, they talked about Andre Ethier versus possible righties that he's had successful on. But maybe against lefties, Kike might get the call some of those times.
Howie Kendrick takes strike one from Sale.
I really believe Kike Hernandez not only breaks with the club, but I think he needs to be in there almost every day, even if it's at a different position every day. He brings energy. He brings an at-bat that you know the opposing pitcher has to work to get him out.
You mentioned the opportunities that he stepped in last year. Part of that was the injury issues that Kendrick had at second. And part of it was Jock Peterson's late season struggles in center. That's where Hernandez played majority of his time down the stretch, and here he is playing shortstop today with Corey Seager out for the time being with a knee injury.
You will notice on both sides of the equation today offensively, these guys in the batter's box, they will not feel like spring training at bats. With these two pitchers on the mound, the intensity has to go up or they're going to get embarrassed.
Sales 1-2. Kendrick with a check swing foul. Stays at 1-2.
Not only embarrassed, but there are times when you'd face, say, someone like Chris Sale at spring training, Clayton Kershaw, when you're at the plate. You're going, man, if I get it off the end or jam, it's going to hurt too, because they're going to pound me. If I'm not ready, I'm not going to barrel anything up.
That ball's barreled up into the left center field gap for Howie Kendrick. Eaton runs it down, and Kendrick has himself a first-inning double. So perhaps a measuring stick type game here early on in spring against Chris Sale. That's got to feel good for Kendrick.
Well, that definitely didn't hurt because he definitely barreled that one up. He stayed on it. Orel Hershiser mentioned it. Fastball, take advantage of it. That was a fastball that he took advantage of and drove it to the gap.
You talk about a measuring stick game. You're at this point in spring, you're getting closer and closer, so you're through the blues of having, you know, sore legs and wondering if your strength's going to come around, your bat speed, and now it's time they're going to start turning it up a little bit, getting a few more at-bats, playing deeper into the games.
Another start at first base for Scott Van Slyke with Adrian Gonzalez in Mexico right now for the World Baseball Classic qualifiers with Team Mexico. And Slyke has had a really nice spring. And bounces one to Frazier at third. 2 gone.
Omar, at what point in spring did you really start eyeballing opening day as, oh, this, I have to start getting it ready?
Around that 2-week mark. I mean, you know, it depends if you actually start off really swinging the bat well.
Yeah.
So you start swinging. If you start swinging the bat well, you're going, gosh, let's start the season now, and you're kind of going, okay, I don't want to break out of my rhythm because I still have 2 to 3 weeks left. But now, if you're struggling, you're going, all right, I really got to take it up a notch because you know the manager's also going to start playing you more.
Alex Guerrero out of the cleanup spot today, takes inside for a ball.
I heard you talking earlier today in the breakfast room about the best thing about spring training would be to be lining out to the opposite field. You don't want to get your hits now.
It's a towering fly ball to left. Adam Eaton staring into that bright sunshine has it. The Dodgers waste a one-out double here in the first inning. We go to the bottom half, and Clayton Kershaw gets ready to take the ball for his 4th Cactus League start. Just a moment. Robin Ventura's team ready to bat for the first time today in a scoreless first inning, and a new look to this White Sox lineup from a season ago. Several new pieces. Austin Jackson in his first season in the organization. So is Todd Frazier coming over from the Reds. Brett Laurie in his first season as well in the White Sox lineup in this White Sox uniform. And they today get to face off with Clayton Kershaw, is making his 4th start of the spring, and as Alana mentioned off of the top, just 1 run allowed over the first 10 innings of spring ball.
What an unbelievable pitcher, and a one-of-a-kind pitcher. He is the only guy in the history of baseball to finish in the top 3 in voting in the Cy Young 5 consecutive years in a row.
Starts Adam Eaton with a fastball upstairs.
Without R.A. Dickey sneaking in, and without Zach Greinke and Jake Arrieta sneaking in, Clayton have an awful lot of Cy Youngs in a row.
Popped up, Kike Hernandez. 1 gone.
And he just turned 28 today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what have you done?
Just checking.
Before you were 28.
Pitched on Sunday against the Rockies. Threw 61 pitches in that game. Dave Roberts telling us we expect 75 pitches from him today, and that's what you were talking about, Laurel. 5 consecutive seasons, finishing in the top 3 in Cy Young voting, including the 3 wins in 11, 13, and 14. And strike 1 to Austin Jackson. Only 4 pitchers have ever won more than 3 Cy Young awards.
And we've watched him morph right before our very eyes, with adding the slider about a year and a half ago as a real solid weapon. Came to the big leagues kind of sporadically wild with outstanding stuff, and found the strike zone when he had to with the fastball and the curveball. Really has never perfected the changeup, has dabbled with it, but then, a year and a half, year and 3/4 ago, he really kind of went to the slider. Really put him at another level.
And it just misses away with a fastball. 1-2 on Jackson.
Dug himself a little bit of a hole last year. Had like a 4.32 ERA through the first 7 to 9 starts, I think I remember, but then went on with a 1.3 the rest of the year.
And go figure. Strikes out Jackson, 2 away. Yeah, the narrative early last year, guys, right, was what is wrong with Clayton Kershaw. He was 6-6 to start. But those watching him closely knew that there was nothing wrong.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Clayton Kershaw, the competitiveness in Clayton Kershaw, the way he's always working, never satisfied. Talked about at the beginning of this game where yeah, numbers don't matter spring training, but they matter to Clayton. And you knew, yeah, it was a hole, but you knew that was going to change.
Great matchup here with Jose Abreu, one of the top sluggers in the game. Did 30 home runs last year, drove in more than 100 after his Rookie of the Year campaign in 2014.
It's interesting, you see the infield, they shifted it on Jose Abreu, and he's one of those guys that really can actually hit the ball the other way, especially when he's focused. When you have guys, you know, maybe man on second, nobody out, he looks to move the runner over, go to that way.
A true professional hitter that has multiple approaches to pitching and to baseball situations. He will actually change his swing, where some guys make the ball go to the opposite field and say, oh, I'm just going to let it get deeper, or they don't really change their swing. They just kind of change when they start. But he actually changes the mechanics of his swing.
And it makes it easy for Robin Ventura to put a guy like that in there every day who's going to be driving runs in.
He's one of 2 players in big league history. I mean, you hear about this guy. He's an all-star, so you know who he is if you follow the game, but I don't know if he gets enough credit for what he's done. He's one of 2 guys in big league history to have back-to-back 30 home run, 100 RBI seasons to begin his career. Albert Pujols, the other.
You know, the key for him this year is going to be the guy on deck. They bring over Todd Frazier, 35 home runs last year, add some power at third base, a guy who can pick it over there also, and now Abreu's going to see some more pitches. That could lead me to a lot deeper topic, but we have 2 outs.
Yeah, smart, savvy move by you, Earl. Mid-season form in game 1 for you. Breaking ball fouled off.
But with a foul ball, I can get into it.
Go.
Sabermetricians might tell you that you're going to see or swing at the same pitches no matter who's on deck. I'm going to tell you what, as a pitcher that has selected what pitch to throw to the current hitter, I would look in the on-deck circle an awful lot before I threw or chose the pitch.
Two up and 2 down in this first inning, and an 0-2 to Abreu.
It's funny you say that, Oral. As a hitter, we knew how the pitcher was going to attack you. I knew that depending on who was hitting behind me, how I was hitting. So I had to be aware of all that. So it's not just worried about yourself and at that moment. It's also worried about how, you know, everybody else is hitting.
Fouls off another. This lineup last year, guys, was dead last in the American League in runs scored, dead last in home runs. There really was no protection for Jose Abreu, and he still put up the numbers that he did.
And we talked about Clayton Kershaw, how spring training numbers matter. Well, they matter for Mr. Abreu. He led the league in hitting down here, and he's like 2nd in the league this year down here in the Cactus League.
.433 the average coming into this one. 11 spring training games. The 29-year-old entering his 3rd big league season.
He is battling up there. I mean, he was 0-2, fouling off some tough pitches. That one was getting in on his hands.
Clayton had to pitch an extra inning this last outing just to get to his pitch count, but this at bat with Abreu, he's stretching him out.
This will be the 11th pitch of the at-bat coming here. After he needed only 6 pitches to retire Eaton and Jackson. 1-2. And Abreu cues it to first to Van Slyke, completing a 1-2-3 first inning for Clayton Kershaw. Through with 1 in Glendale. Dodgers and White Sox are scoreless. Top of the second inning back in Glendale, Arizona. Dodgers and White Sox on a mid-80s temperature day. Scoreless as we go to the second. But A.J. Ellis stands in against Chris Sale. Gave up a one-out double in the first inning to Howie Kendrick, but he was stranded there. 1 ball and no strikes on Ellis, doing the catching out of the 5 spot today.
There's no such thing as a personal catcher, but it seems that AJ's behind there an awful lot when Clayton's on the mound.
Well, they always say that, right? There's no such thing as a personal catcher, but it's okay. It's like it's okay to have one. I mean, especially when you have a guy like Clayton Kershaw in his track record.
Steve Carlton had Tim McCarver. Greg Maddux had Eddie Perez.
And I'll ask you, Oral. I mean, when you came in, I'm sure there's certain catchers you felt more comfortable when you were pitching.
Definitely. And there's a rhythm to how they put the fingers down. There's a rhythm to it's the right sign most of the time. There's a rhythm to the way they move their body, the outside corner, the inside corner, the angle of the glove of the target. I know you can really start to get particular, but pitchers are pretty particular.
Popped up, back of second for Brett Laurie, who's got it. The first out of the second inning. Dave Roberts in his first season, and so is just about everybody else on the coaching staff. These are the new additions. Of course, Rick Honeycutt back in the pitching coach spot, but a bunch of new faces as far as bench coach and the base coaches, bullpen coach Josh Bard, Tim Hires, the assistant hitting coach Turner Ward, and Chris Woodward, who you saw at third there, his first time coaching third base. It'll be the first time coaching first base for George Lombard. Let's bring in Alana Rizzo, who's spent plenty more time than we have around these guys already at spring training. We just decided to show up this week.
I appreciate you guys being here. It's nice to have you here. Dave Roberts has brought in several different motivational speakers, guys, in the morning meetings in the clubhouse throughout spring. And he did just bring a group of guys in. It was very interesting as far as team building and motivation was concerned. Bob Guerin, the hitting coach, actually ripped a phone book in half, which was interesting. I know that doesn't sound right if it's out of context, but one of the other drills was one of these gentlemen actually put a cinder block on top of Dave Roberts' chest and was trying to show these guys and talk about trust. He said, I need to hit him right with the sledgehammer on the perfect spot of the cinder block, but you have to be able to trust me. So he did that. He was able to break the cinder block. Dave Roberts is still intact. Another motivational thing that they do here at spring to get ready for the season, guys.
Wow. Trace Thompson taken outside from Sale.
So if you need a sledgehammer or a ripped phone book, we can go. We know what staff to go to. Yeah.
No more room. We're going to do that with Joe to, kind of get him into the booth here. I think we got to come up with a cinder block thing.
I'll get him a phone book. I'll get him the white pages. Here we go. Show me something.
I'd prefer that one. I'll try and fail to rip the phone book as opposed to putting a cinder block on my chest and having you swing away.
That's no trust.
Hey, if I have to have one of you two swing at the cinder block, don't pick an Oral. No. I know he's got that silver slugger laying around somewhere.
But I'd pick Nomar. He hits the first pitch.
Yeah, that's true, but it's going to hurt more. Trace Thompson pops one up on the infield. Chris Sale about to work a 1-2-3 second inning. Again, battling that sunshine. It's Tyler Saladino pulling it in. Middle 2 in Arizona, no score. the sellout crowd today at Camelback Ranch, a facility these two teams share. White Sox technically the home team in this one. So Clayton Kershaw out to pitch the bottom of the second inning after a 1-2-3 first. Todd Frazier in his first season in a White Sox uniform stands in, takes ball one. 17 pitches in that first inning for Kershaw, 14 of them for strikes. Easily dispatch Eaton and Jackson before Abreu made him work with a 12-pitch AB. 1-1. Frazier coming over from the Cincinnati Reds and providing some much-needed pop to the lineup, providing some much-needed personality to the clubhouse. And lofting one to left. Herrera can't get there, and it'll bounce its way to the wall. Extra bases for Frazier to lead off this second.
That was a double, but Frazier had the 35 bombs last year, which put him 4th in the NL, and he hits public enemy number 1, the curveball. You see, just stayed back, kind of put a little hitch in his swing to delay his hand so he could stay on that ball and drive it into the gap.
First base runner against Kershaw, and up comes Avi Garcia, who's having a heck of a spring, much like he did last year, though, in his first year with the White Sox. And then struggled in what was his first full big league season. Former Detroit Tiger came over in the 3-player deal that sent Jose Iglesias from the Boston Red Sox to the Tigers, Jake Peavy, the White Sox to Boston.
Omar, what's the reason we see with some of the offensive players that they can have great springs and then all of a sudden the big league season starts up and all of a sudden it's just not the same?
It happens a lot. You know, you actually see it a lot from players here in Arizona. Because Arizona is a good place to hit. The balls don't necessarily break as much from coming out of the pitchers. It's the ball carries more as well. They have a tendency with all the heat, the warm, the infields are usually harder, so the balls get through.
Garcia down on strikes, chasing one in the dirt. Second Kershaw punch out. Let me get back to that in just a second here, but also want to let you know that you should mark your calendar for Wednesday, April 13th. Dodgers will host the Diamondbacks at 7:10, and the first 40,000 people in attendance get an adult hooded sweatshirt presented by Bank of America. Tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
You know, I was watching that last at-bat by Avisail Garcia. He had a leadoff double, and he really didn't look like he was trying to move the runner over at all. I know it's spring training, but you got to work on everything.
A veteran hitter, you might not ask him to do that. Hey, just bring your swing along. You don't have to hit to the situation. But a younger guy that's trying to continue to make an impression, and somebody who had an off year, you would think that they'd want him to do the team thing.
Yeah, you still, you know, you want to, you know, as a manager, you want to see that you can count on that coming in there in the season.
Helping in on Brett Laurie, 1 ball and 1 strike. Another new piece to this White Sox lineup, who, unlike Avi Garcia, has a spot on this roster, will be the everyday second baseman for Robin Ventura's club. Waits on this 1-1 from Kershaw. 2-1.
We saw Clayton with that swing and miss strikeout of Garcia, and the 2 guys on the mound today over the last 3 years have gotten some of the most swings and misses of all time here. Scherzer 573, but then Clayton at 567 and Chris Sale at 536.
A check swing tapper back to the mound. Kershaw's got it and throws out Laurie with Frazier holding on at second. 2 away.
A little awkward catch for Clayton right there because his feet are above the ground level where he catches it. See, he's still on the hill, so there's a little extra reach there when you're going down for that ground ball. It takes a lot of discipline. You see a lot of guys don't get their glove down far enough because his feet were about 3-4 inches higher than where his glove had to reach down to. That was a very nice play.
Showing off the flexibility.
Yeah, your back can take a beating on that play for sure. You just you track the ball and all of a sudden you're going to a place you really normally don't have to go to.
There's a former Dodger, Jerry Sands, in his first year in the White Sox organization. And attacks the first one from Kershaw. Will plate the game's first run. Sands with a base hit to left. It scores Frazier. And the White Sox lead 1-0.
Well, attacking the very first pitch. He had a runner in scoring position. We talked about both the pitchers on the hill today. Clayton Kershaw, Chris Sale. The averages for hitters are a lot higher on the very first pitch as they are compared to pitches thereafter. And Clayton, you're looking at 287 on the first pitch as compared to 199 after that. And for Chris Sale, it's over 300 on that first pitch as compared to afterwards. It really goes down. So a good job by Sands there. Attack him early to get the RBI.
Another former Dodger, Deandre Navarro, takes strike one. Signed a one-year deal with the White Sox this offseason. Entering his 13th big league year with his 7th different team. He was with the Dodgers 05 and 06. And back for a short time in 2011. Breaking ball, buckled his knees, but was low, and it's 1-1.
That was a nice play by A.J. Ellis back there. I know it's man on first, 2 out, but what it told me is that his knees are feeling really healthy. Boy, he moved quickly out there and was able to dart out his left leg.
Sands at first, 2 away in the second, and a 1-1 to Deandre Navarro will come after a toss to first.
You know, that pitch before, or I saw Clayton throw over to first base. I mean, for somebody like Clayton, who doesn't usually get a whole lot of runners on, even at spring training, but is that something you have to tell yourself to make a conscious effort? Say, oh, let's work on my pickoff as well here in spring training.
For sure, there are things that you are continually trying to bring along, and things that you recognize that in my first 3 games or so, you know, I haven't gotten to do this. You know, I haven't had a comeback or I got a double play. If I get a guy on, get a call, that'd be great. That little play that he made right in front of the mound on the chopper, I'm sure he hasn't made a play like that this year, and just got to get that one out of the way. And he's already picked somebody off here this spring, but just keeping guys close, being part of holding the running game, yeah, it's part of the mental side of the game you've got to get ready for.
It's 3-1. Caught the corner, runs it full on Navarro. It's, of course, been something he's done as well as anybody in baseball during his career, is pick runners off. Continuing to work on those strengths. A couple weeks left here in spring training. A few more starts coming for him. Brings a 3-2. Navarro slaps a roller that'll sneak its way through the shift for a base hit. First to third goes Sands. Third hit of the frame, and they're at the corners with 2 away.
This is something that will drive Clayton crazy. And remember at the beginning of last year, the shift burned him an awful lot, and all of a sudden they didn't have quite as many shifts behind him. It won't hurt him very much here in spring training, but it's something that he'll look at when you make a pitch in the 3-1 pitch that he did right on the black, a great pitcher's pitch. Get to 3-2, come back with an outstanding fastball 3-2, and give up a little dribbler. It's just hard to quantify that in your brain that it's okay, they're in the right spot.
Yeah.
We saw that early last year, the shift, and you know there was a couple runs on Clayton Kershaw because of that shift, and then it kind of diminished later on in the season.
That ball's hit off of Kershaw by Tyler Saladino, and Howie Kendrick barehands it and throws late. But the main thing is making sure that Kershaw's okay as Sands comes in and scores. The White Sox take a 2-0 lead, but Clayton quickly nods and he's just fine.
He ran over to cover third as Howie made the play over there to make sure the runner couldn't move up. So he takes the shot here.
And how about this play by Howie?
He doesn't just stop. Howie goes over, but Clayton busts it over to third to make sure the runner can't advance. Just him running over there was a good sign that he's okay.
You know, Clayton's okay, which is good. You know, Clayton, the intensity.
Yeah.
But I was also just looking, I mean, let's not forget Howie making that transition over there to third base and coming in with the bare hand, throwing across the field the way he did, and making an accurate throw.
That's his first game. This is his first game that he's played there this spring. And in his career, which spans about a decade now, He's only played third base one game back in 2006.
It looked like one game right there after that play.
Oh. Top of the order with Adam Eaton. Popped out to short his first time. Yeah, takes down and in 1-1. How significant is the difference when you switch across the diamond like he is from second to third?
It's a major difference because just the ball coming off the bat, it's a different angle, different spin. And also when you're coming from the middle of the infield, where you get to see the pitch coming into the zone, you can constantly, you can pretty much kind of anticipate where the ball may be hit and going because you have the view. Where in the corners, first base, third base, you don't really get to anticipate. It's almost just react as the ball's coming off of the bat. So it's definitely different. And then the throw. He's going from second base, a short throw. Even in the middle infield, shortstop, it seems like it's a bigger target over at first, where from third base, it's almost like just a small tunnel you got to throw through to first base.
He hacks another foul. Alana Rizzo, I know you've got more on Howie.
Well, Justin Turner is about to figure 140 games at the hot corner, guys, and the Dodgers certainly think he's the best defensive third baseman that they have. So you figure the other 42 are probably going to go to Howie Kendrick and Chase Utley. Of course, they've both been taking a lot of ground balls over there. Howie getting in today in this spring training game, but it'll probably split between those two guys. And Dave Roberts saying it's really more of a comfort level at who feels better over there in Justin Turner's place.
Yeah, check swing, and with two outs here, it's hard to get too deep into it. But Nomar, part of that is thinking on the back end of it, what that does with your middle infield chemistry, because those are your two second basemen in Utley and Kendrick, and when you move them to third, you're creating a lack of continuity for Corey Seager and his relationship up the middle.
You're absolutely right, especially, let's not forget, Corey Seager going into his rookie season, and already the pressure that he's probably dealing with, although it doesn't seem like it bothers him one bit.
Eaton chases one that was low and away for strike three. That's the third Kershaw strikeout of the game, but the White Sox bring 7 to the plate and bring home 2. 2-0 after 2.
Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the doctor.
Use that water for a little cool off too. I think he just dumped it on his son to wants a drink of it. Mid-80s day here in Arizona. In the low 90s this afternoon. The Dodgers getting to the bottom part of the order against Chris Sale. It'll be 8-9-1 in this third. Ilian Herrera to lead it off. His second stint with the Dodgers. In his big league debut in Dodger blue back in 2012. Saw some time the next season as well. Spent the last 2 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. And Sale begins him with strike one.
Omar, so much is talked about deception with pitchers' deliveries, the guys that have it, guys that don't. Chris Sale?
2 hops to short. Saladino one out.
Chris Sale, it's not just the deception, but it's the release. One where it's starting because he's so tall, being 6'6", long arms, and he's throwing almost that, like I said, sidearm to 3/4 angle. So that release point is different angles the ball's coming in. But 2, because he's so tall, where he's releasing it so much closer to you as a hitter than other pitchers.
Rico Noel using that philosophy of the best pitch you're going to see is going to be that first one. Flying it to center, and that's 2 quick outs for Sale in this 3rd inning.
So that all adds to it. I mean, Chris Sale, he just reminds me of Randy Johnson. Tall, release point, dropping down 3/4, different angle. There's, if you look at the batter's eye, in center field, the batter's eye that you have, these guys are so tall that oftentimes they actually release it outside of it.
Yeah.
They
used to say that about Randy Johnson all the time.
Yes, they would release it away so hitters really couldn't see the ball. I mean, it was already difficult to begin with whether there was a batter's eye that you can see it coming out of, but there were some that you couldn't
come
pick
out
it
of the
up.
right field bleachers.
Exactly.
Out of people's shirts.
That was, at Fenway Park. I played at Fenway during day games. They actually cover those seats. They get rid of some seats and cover it because there is no batter's eye, and a lot of it was when Randy Johnson would pitch there, and it still didn't cover it.
Kike Hernandez with a base hit to center to extend this 3rd inning. Sale is really moving quickly, getting into a rhythm. Hernandez with a base hit to keep the frame alive for Howie Kendrick.
A lot has been written about Kike having a slow spring and kind of cold. I got to watch him in batting practice a few days here, and I'll tell you what, he's hitting the ball over the ballpark hard, and he is not worried at all about the stats so far. He looks very good and strong.
It's his 4th hit, 31 ABs, but like you guys have talked about, it's about how you're feeling when you reach the backside of spring training. More than it is those numbers on the page, right?
Like we talked about is those line drives. Line drives out is what you want in spring training. Maybe like the last week, okay, maybe a couple will fall in, but the line drives, I love. A perfect day for me was 3 line drive outs to the second baseman. Going the other way, staying on it, squaring it up.
Well, you get on the airplane to head off for opening day, leaving spring training. You're hitting 450 with 7 bombs,
you're due for
6 doubles, and you're like, this doesn't last.
And I've had when I did that. And I actually was here once again in Arizona and did not start off well. Oh, it was awful.
Gonna save those knocks for when
it was
counts,
awful.
right?
Boy, did I just leave them here in Arizona. It was not good.
It's really the numbers are really only important for the young guys trying to make an impression, and the old guys trying to cling to a job.
Yeah, prove they still belong. Howie Kendrick doubled off Sale his first time. Now this 1-1. Slots it off with the glove of Abreu down the right field line. Garcia grabs it in the corner. Hernandez motoring around 3rd. Woodward gives him the wave. He'll score standing on a triple from Howie Kendrick, and it's 2-1.
We saw this all last year, Nomar. Howie Kendrick will put an at-bat on no matter how good the pitcher is. He was in the playoffs last year. If it's Chris Sale now, and the prototypical number 2 hitter that can just scorch the ball to right field.
I mean, he does such a good job driving the ball the other way. I mean, you always hear those terms, get your hands back, driving it the other way, let the ball get deep, let it travel, all of those. Well, he does all of that. And then that was a perfect example where that was a fastball slightly up in the zone, but it did travel, it got deep. He has quick enough hands, and he just drove it right down the line.
Scott Van Slyke takes ball 1. Had that been caught by Abreu, it would have been your perfect spring training at bat, right?
Other than have been the first baseman, not the second baseman.
A lot of times where the reason I say going the other way like that, because for your time as a big league hitter, it's once you're going, or it looks like you're late, or people think, oh, he's late on the fastball.
Chopper to short. Saladino throws him out to end the inning. Let's finish that thought on the other side. Dodgers get on the board. Back-to-back hits from Hernandez and Kendrick with 2 outs. 2-1, middle 3. Oh, Kendrick with an RBI triple. It's a 2-1 game as we go to the bottom of the third. And you were talking, Omar, before we went to break there about that triple going the other way and talking about sending the ball the other way as a hitter.
Yeah, because at this level, at the big league level, when you're actually, it looks like you're late, or if you hit a foul ball, say in the other dugout, and it feels like you're late, but you squared it up. As a hitter, you're going, I can always catch up. I can start maybe a little bit earlier. But when I'm out in front, it's out in front, or I'm pulling the ball, and I want to get that fair. It's hard to convince yourself and have the confidence. Say, well, now I gotta wait on it. Now I gotta wait for it to get deep a little bit longer. And you're going, okay, well, how much do I have to wait where it's not passing me then? So it's easy to kind of speed yourself up rather than try to slow yourself down. So those foul balls to the right side if you're a right-handed hitter, or to the left side if you're a left-handed hitter, are a good thing, as far as when they're hard foul balls.
1-2 on Austin Jackson and Orioles. As pitchers, you try to read guys' swings.
For sure. You're reading the foul balls. You're reading the swings. You're reading when do they get mad at themselves about swinging at a certain pitch. It tells you what they're working on or struggling with.
Jackson waited on that breaker and grounded to second. Austin Barnes able to make the play for the first out. And the flip side of that, another level, Omar, is that sometimes they're reading you and you're trying to set them up, right?
I laugh when people say, I'm going to set them up. It's really hard to set up a pitcher.
You never did that?
No, you're not setting them up. Usually what it is, where it looks like you're setting up guys, is that you make the adjustment in the middle of the at-bat, where you figured, okay, I was, when you look foolish on a curveball, and they're like, oh, if he throws that again, and then you hit it a ton. It's like you knew what you did on that first swing on the curveball. It's really tried to set guys. It's really difficult to say, oh, I'm going to set him up, or I'm going to take a weak swing here and I'm going to take a better swing. No, it's just an adjustment you made if he throws that pitch again.
Jose Abreu grounded out his first time, but it was a 12 pitch at bat, fouled off 8 pitches against Kershaw.
You may not think you can set us up, but we really believe as pitchers we can set you up.
I know you can. Yeah.
If we didn't, there would be no strategy on what to throw a guy, but yeah. I understand from your side because you got to react.
Fisted into right. That's a base hit for Abreu.
Clayton's. With Abreu, he's one of those type of hitters you really, as a pitcher, right? Or you can't get upset with. Like that wasn't a bad pitch. You jammed him, but he has the ability to keep the hands inside and fight it off. He made you throw a 12 pitch at bat, his last at bat. So you're like, okay.
Sandy Koufax used to say about 2 or 3 hitters in the lineup, they're going to get their hits. You just got to make sure when they get their hits they don't hurt you, and you also keep them in the ballpark. He said, the hitters I worry about with you, Oral, I want you to get the guys out you're supposed to get out. Those other guys are going to get their hits, and that's what he's talking about, like with Henry Aaron. He said, Henry's going to get his hits. So-and-so's going to get his hits. But we got to make sure there's nobody on when they're up to bat. We got to make sure there's no damage when they get their hits. They're that good. They're that good.
They're also getting paid to get hits too. So
you were one of those guys, Nomar. You were one of those guys that we're going to make sure you're going to get your hit, but we got to make sure we don't let the guys on in front of you, and that we keep you in the ballpark or keep you out of the gaps.
It's funny you said that, because I said that to a young pitcher later in my career. He was asking me, he's like, I can't get Vladimir Guerrero out. I said, well, you're not going to. I told him
right.
That. It's Vladimir Guerrero. I said, you just get to decide how much damage he's going to do to you. That's what you get to decide.
Yep.
2-1 on Todd Frazier. Doubled and scored last inning. That category of guys getting paid to hit. 35 bombs last year. No White Sox third baseman has ever done that. So a big time upgrade in the power department. The hot corner. Just ball off of the handle into short center. Trace Thompson will make the play. Two gone for Avisail Garcia. It was a strikeout victim of Kershaw's his first time. One of 3 punch outs for Clayton. Got him picked off. Second time Clayton Kershaw has done that successfully this spring. This time Jose Abreu's the victim. As good as anybody in the game at that, too. And a 2-1 game. Early innings here in Glendale. On his 28th birthday, gets himself a kickoff. Middle part of the Dodgers order, and Alex Guerrero swinging to the first Chris Sale offering, lofting it to deep left. It carries well, and it is gone. Alex Guerrero with his second home run of the spring. This one ties the game at 2. There's another guy going after first pitch against these aces.
I don't understand why you'd want to get behind either one of these guys. So absolutely go after the first pitch. If it's going to be a straight one and he's trying to get ahead of you, that was a fastball right down the heart of the plate. Alex Guerrero doesn't miss it. Looks like he got under it just a little bit, but we talked about the air here in Arizona. Carried out for him.
Brings up A.J. Ellis, who takes strike one over the inner half. That's something that Chris Sale has talked about in the backfields that he's worked at so far this spring, and what he hopes his approach is here this year, and that is worrying less about striking guys out, being more cognizant of getting early contact and count. Sometimes it bites you like that, but his hope is that it helps keep him fresh deeper into the season.
I liked guys to make contact on the first pitch. I tried to make them make contact on the first pitch. Keep your pitch count down, go deeper into the game. Actually, it's an information exchange for me, and I have to give up the first information as a pitcher because I have to show my delivery and I have to show which pitch I'm going to attack you with on the first one. So I want you to pay for the information, which is a strike, or to make you swing the bat and give me some information. Are you late? Are you early? Are you aggressive? What's going on? One of the more intimidating things for me is to have a great hitter at the plate and have him take, because now I don't have any information. And so I've got to make you pay for that information. I got to get a strike with that pitch.
But on the flip side, as a hitter, if I was attacking that first pitch and if you made a mistake on the first one and I was thinking take, there's no way I can take and all of a sudden change my mind and say, oh, he made a mistake and I can swing the bat.
Right.
So I have to be ready for your mistake. The thing is it's not about taking, it's about being able to, right when you get into the box, swinging at strikes. Patience isn't taking pitches. Patience is swinging at strikes. And if the first one's a strike that's in your zone to attack, then attack it. And then I also got information on myself.
There's another deep drive down the left field line from A.J. Ellis. Eaton is back, and that ball is foul. Just barely misses, staying fair for Ellis. And Sale dodges a bullet.
Same kind of swing we've seen from AJ the second half of last year when he really turned his offense around. Short, compact, and on it. Just out in front of it a little bit. That'll be one he's glad went foul.
Right, you were talking about AJ earlier about when he was behind home plate that his knees look like they're feeling better. Well, we saw the second half of last year, his knees were feeling better and the offense started to come around.
This time Sale gets him with an off speed.
But what we were talking about, you're talking about the information you got even from swings. But there were times when I would swing early in the count too, if I fouled it off or I pulled one like that,
right,
I was getting information too on what the adjustment I had. Like you just asked me earlier about setting up a pitcher. Well, I wasn't setting him up, but I got the information. So if he threw that pitch again, or so I can make the adjustment.
Right. Well, especially if a guy threw you a fastball in and didn't beat you, and you were able to get there and foul it off. Now you know you don't have to worry about your timing on the breaking ball because you're quick enough on the fastball in. And that's what would give me the information too when you swung, because I could see where on the barrel of the bat you fouled the ball off. What portion of the plate was I? Where am I in the count? And so when I know where the barrel of the bat is, and I know if you're there or you're not there, that gives me information where I can go possibly. And I always felt like in some situations you want to make the hitter make the biggest adjustment. Maybe a biggest adjustment to location or a big adjustment to speed.
3 balls and a strike on Austin Barnes.
That's what was terrible about facing yourself, Nomar, or a Tony Gwynn. The guys with great back control stayed back, didn't really commit, waited. It's just you didn't feel like there were any holes.
Barnes draws the first walk off of an upset Sale with 1 away here in the 4th. Sale, an all-star 4 consecutive seasons. All 4 years that he's been a starting pitcher. Started his time in the majors out of the bullpen. Drafted in June of 2010. Made his debut a couple of months later. Was a reliever in 2010, 2011. Moved into the rotation in 12. Trace Thompson with a line drive right at Adam Eaton. That's one of those outs you live with during spring training, and it's one of those outs Trace Thompson's getting used to. It seems like all spring long he's been squaring it up, but nothing to show for it.
Well, we said line drive outs are good when you know you have a spot on the team.
Okay.
When you're trying to leave an impression or make sure you really want to, you hope those fall in, because Trace Thompson is one of those guys that we talk about possibly being on the bubble. I don't think he's going to break camp. But at the same time, you want to leave an impression. But he has definitely left an impression so far this spring, because despite what the numbers are saying, he is making hard outs like that, like the one we just saw.
Elian Herrera takes one that scatters those feet all the way to the screen, allowing Barnes to move into scoring position.
We got a great scouting report on Trace Thompson from some of the people on the Chicago side, because of course they've seen him play more than we have, and especially in regular season games, not spring training games. And one of their best defenders at every one of the outfield positions, a great guy and a great guy in the clubhouse, and an amazing athlete that should contribute in a big way to the Dodger roster.
There's a 1-0 from Sale, and Herrera checks his swing and fouls it off. Right off of Navarro.
You're talking about Trace Thompson. You're talking about contributing. When you look at the Dodger outfield right now, okay, left field. We already hear about probably Andre Ethier in left, Jock Peterson in center, Yasiel in right, probably Carl Crawford being out there in that 4th outfield. But you never know. We've seen it with injuries. He also, we'll see. Jock Peterson struggling there late in the season. Obviously lost his position to Kike Hernandez. Yasiel Puig too. There's still, he has to come out here this year and show something, because, his. Early in his career, it's only been about 3 months. After that first 3 months he's had in the big leagues, he still hasn't shown that type of stuff.
Consistent production, yeah. And at the big league level, when you think about rosters, you have your starters and you have your bench players that break with you. It doesn't mean that when somebody gets hurt that the starter is going to come from your reserves in the big leagues. The starter sometimes comes from the minor leagues, the guy who's playing every day, and that's his position.
Yeah, it's hard for a guy such as Trace Thompson. Obviously wants to be in the big leagues. Everybody wants to be in the big leagues, but to say, okay, he's experienced the big leagues, but we're going to send you down because we need you to play every day, compared to being up here and possibly sitting, because if anything were to happen, I want you fresh and ready, rather than all of a sudden throwing you in that spot and you haven't got enough at-bats to be ready.
Same thing happens with pitchers when we want to keep you stretched out because you're, our 6th starter or our 7th starter. And could you be the 12th guy on the staff that sits down there for 8 days and only gets to pitch an inning or 2 over a 12-day period? Yeah, you could be, but your value to our club is if we have a damage to our starting rotation, you can go 6, 7, 8 innings for us, and you've been stretched out.
Here's a 3-2, and Herrera rips it past third and foul. Alex Guerrero with a home run to lead off this inning, tying it at 2. Ellis struck out. Barnes walked. Moved to second in a wild pitch. And Thompson with the line out to left. So runner at second. And 2 gone for Elian Herrera. Pulls a bouncer to short. And Saladino curls around it. Throws to first. Dug out by Abreu to retire the side. But the Dodgers even the issue at 2 on Alex Guerrero's second home run of the spring. A skyscraper that gets out to straightaway left. Tied at 2, bottom of the 4th inning.
Okay.
Glendale, Arizona. Clayton Kershaw goes back to work against Avi Garcia, who swings at the first one and hits a rising line drive to center that Trace Thompson tracks down. 1 away.
What a great play by Trace Thompson. Not an easy play for outfielders, infielders. Those balls hit right at you, although that one he had to go back at an angle, and that was carrying. He just talked about his athleticism, or right before that, we heard from the Chicago White Sox side that they've seen him being one of their better outfielders that they had last year, and we saw it right there, showing off that athleticism.
Here's Brent Loring. Grounded back to the mound his first time and takes ball 1. Dave Roberts has said early on this spring, as good of an athlete as Trace Thompson is not just that, the fact that he is a baseball player. You kind of make that differentiation between some guys. Some guys are just athletes playing baseball. Dave Roberts, the early signs that he's seen are that Thompson's more than just an athlete.
That was the amendment to the scouting report we got from the Chicago side too. One of the smarter players on their team, as far as not just an athlete, but kind of that gym rat baseball player that really wants to know the details of the game and every edge that he can find, as subtle as it could be.
Laurie takes strike 3, 4th punch out for Clayton Kershaw. 2 away in this 4th inning, and let's again bring in Alana Rizzo. We've been talking about Trace Thompson in that outfield. Alana, you've got an update On Andre Ethier, another outfielder.
Andre Ethier yesterday fouling a ball off of his shin in the game over in Scottsdale, guys, and it looked pretty bad. He was carted off the field, and then he was carted out of the clubhouse, went to get x-rays, and thankfully just a contusion. They were worried that it could have been some sort of fracture. He's on crutches right now, expected to be out 2 to 3 days. Could have been a lot worse. Elian Herrera in left today.
Yeah, he said that he's got padding on that leg and even a padded sock that he said that he wears in the one spot that isn't covered is the spot that ball found on his leg. Hard hit right at Hernandez. The White Sox go down in order in the 4th. So Kershaw, since that second inning where the White Sox brought up 7, has faced the minimum over the last 2. We go to the 5th inning here in Glendale and can guarantee your tickets to opening day with the 2016 Dodgers mini plan. Choose from great promotional games featuring fan favorites like bobbleheads and brand new retired number pins. Visit Dodgers.com/mini plans for more. Another sellout here at Camelback Ranch. Facility these two teams share. White Sox will get credit for the sellout. It's their home game. Rotate back and forth when these teams play each other. And who gets to claim the sellout? 9-1-2 against Sale. Enrico Noel takes ball 1.
But it'll increase our road attendance, even though we're not on the road.
I'm glad you're worried about that, Ola.
Just a little bit.
Noel trying to use that speed. Plays perfectly. Sale, even with that extension, can't grab it. Noel's aboard to begin this 5th inning.
Sale did a nice job getting off to the left side. Being a left-handed sidewinder, usually have a tendency to fall off to third base, but he did a good job stopping right there and just took his eye off, kind of hit off the webbing of his glove. Love the way Noel pushed this ball right towards second base. Never changed the angle of the bat once he had it set. Kind of pushed through it with his stride to get the accuracy of the bunt.
He can fly. He's been on base coming into this game, guys, 7 times this spring. He's got 5 steals.
See if he goes first move right here. A couple of ways when you get on base, you're a base stealer off lefties. If you don't know them, you wait to see if they throw over. But if you do know them, sometimes after you just get on that very first time, you just try to think you can get them by surprise and you take off.
Pretty healthy lead. Still comes home. And Hernandez punches a base hit to right. Noel thinking first to third, but throws on the brakes, and Garcia's throw is nowhere close. But with nobody out, smart move. First and second. Nobody down in this 5th.
Now this is small ball at its best. A speedy runner leading off the inning, push bunt, make the pitcher field the ball and he doesn't do a good job, and then Kike Hernandez hitting that hole over there, first and second, no out, and now you've got one of the best guys you could have up there in the Dodger lineup.
Hey, you know, running the bases, we heard Dave Roberts talk about, you know, want these guys. You know, Dave Roberts, obviously a great base stealer in his time when he played the speed, and they asked if he's going to bring that here to the Dodgers, and he's like, look, one thing is stealing bases, but two is just running the bases right. And when you saw just what can it do, well, you saw Noel there running hard. You know he has speed. He was thinking about possibly going to third, and it made Garcia throw the ball, and he almost threw that ball away. It forces the speed and running the bases right. Can possibly force mistakes. Here's a perfect example. He's thinking, and then he recognized that he has the ball before he rounds second, but going hard, look at that. He's looking to take that extra base. Todd Frazier did a good job keeping that ball in. If not, well, standing at third.
Howie Kendrick having a good day against Sale so far. They throw to first and pick off Hernandez. So he gets caught napping. Sale throws behind the trail runner for the first out of the inning.
Well, I was talking about running the bases right.
Yeah.
Oops. I'm actually glad
there.
this happened because this is now a heads up for the rest of the team and Kike for the rest of the year. You'd rather that happen in the preseason than in the regular season in a key moment.
And you know what? Also, it's George Lombard over there. It's his first time at first base coach as well. You know, it's a learning experience for him too, where it's going, all right, you know, how is he going to communicate to those base runners that they get on if they're really close? Hey, watch it. He's standing right there. Get a little closer. Watch yourself. Never know.
Base running was a problem for this team last year. Of course, made the change at third base coach midseason. Reneke taking over for Lorenzo Bundy. But by most measures, they were one of the worst base running teams in the National League.
And if you speak to Dave Roberts about base running, it's a mindset. It's not about how fast you run. It's a mindset and paying attention to details and pre-playing where the ball could be hit and what you're supposed to do when it's hit there. I mean, it's easy to say, teach guys to make good turns at first base on a base hit to the outfield. But it's another thing that once they get to first base, now what am I doing on a line drive to this side? Where are the outfielders? What am I doing on a line drive up the middle? What am I doing on a blooper down the left field line? All the different things of what you've got to do when you can get to where you got to go.
And that mindset starts here at spring training. It comes from your manager telling you, think about taking that extra base. Don't be afraid to get thrown out. I want to see it. Also, if you feel like, almost give everybody the green light. Let me see how you run the base when you decide to run the bases.
Kendrick again, solid contact, had a position well this time, and Austin Jackson has it for the second out.
I remember Kevin Kennedy being in spring training, big league spring training, my first one. Kevin Kennedy was the manager of the Red Sox, and when he said, he told Mo Vaughn, he goes, you're going to get some stolen bases this year. He goes, you're running. And Mo Vaughn had a few stolen bases that year, but he also, talk about the mindset, he also wanted to see at spring training, every time the ball was thrown in the dirt, he says, I want you to go. He wanted everybody to go the moment it was thrown in the dirt. So now, talk about that mindset. You're already anticipating. It was like you
get a base level of knowledge of when can I make it and when I can't.
Exactly right. That's it. And
but if you never go, you'll never have that knowledge.
And he was gaining that knowledge, and he was showing so many of us at the time, like, look how many times you actually do make it. And then you're also focused with that mindset to say, okay, I'm going to take that extra base.
Shell turns and fires to second with Glory sneaking in behind Noel. You're talking about the attitude and the approach, the philosophy of taking the extra base. And they break those numbers down. They track that stuff. And the Dodgers were second to last in the NL, and the percentage of the time they did take the extra base last year.
But a lot of it has to do with an aggressive secondary lead. A lot of it has to do, am I getting my weight to the foot, on the front foot when the ball enters the hitting area so I get a good jump? Am I making a false step once the ball is hit, or am I making a full turn and a full stride so I get that extra 3 feet? If you jab with your front foot, you gain 6-8 inches. If you cross over with your back left leg, you gain 6 feet. There's a lot to base running that the technique and the details that can get you to that base, and those bang bang plays all of a sudden turn into safes instead of outs.
1 ball and 1 strike on Scott Van Slyke. Here comes Sale. And there's that slider that Probably looked like it came from the second baseman. 1-2.
I think that one would have if the second baseman was playing.
That's right.
You normally do, but yeah. Since they have the shift, that one didn't. But you're right.
You have to throw right-handed.
You know what I mean.
No, exactly. With all these shifts, I don't know if you can say that anymore. I mean, well, the second base area,
the traditional
right?
second base positioning.
Yeah, where second baseman used to play back in my day, right?
Well, Joe, it wasn't back in your day. This is your day.
I was quoting you. Yeah. Here's the 2-2. And Van Slyke chops it foul.
Yeah, when you were born, there was an internet, Joe. No?
No, I don't.
Not yet?
No, it was another few years.
You're 27?
28.
28?
Yeah.
You and Clayton are now 28?
Yeah.
All right.
Poor guys.
Sale to Van Slyke with another 2-2. Pretty good. Count goes full.
So if he's throwing it from the traditional second base side to inside to a righty, that's why this freezes you. It's just hard to pull a trigger.
Sometimes it can also mess up the umpire. He doesn't know whether to call it or not.
There's a payoff, and Van Slyke goes down swinging, pulled the string on him to retire the side. Dodgers with a couple of base hits, but a base running error puts the clamps on the inning. We stay tied at 2 halfway home in Glendale. Two runs for the White Sox in the second. Dodgers answering with single runs in the third and the fourth. Tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Clayton Kershaw's 28th birthday. Or what have you seen from Clayton so far today in his 4th start of the spring?
You know, I think he's in Clayton form. There's nothing really to prepare anymore. He's going to talk about what he wants to get better at, and he'll be upset about the 2 runs in the second. But a lot of that came from just a routine ground ball that happened to be away from the shift, and it wasn't even a routine ground ball. It was just a squibber. I think he looks really good and strong and on his game.
4 strikeouts, no walks. 4 of the 5 hits the White Sox have came in that second inning. One of them came from Deandre Navarro, who takes strike 1. Tried to lay off and did. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2.
Getting back to Clayton, you know, what's incredible about the way he has thrown, how consistent he has been in his greatness. The last 5 years, ridiculous numbers.
That ball's flipped over first and down the line for a base hit. Kershaw responded. The ball that goes off the end of the bat. We've seen a couple of those against him today. Ball holds on with a single.
In 159 starts over the 5 years that Clayton Kershaw has pitched for the Dodgers, today is a rarity. He's given up 2 earned runs. 81 of the 159 in the regular season, 1 run or less. That's just unheard of. It's ridiculous how good he is. So to give up 2 is unbelievable.
Tyler Saladino playing small ball. Kendrick getting tested at third, makes a nice play. And Omar, you've liked the way he's played in his first game at third this year.
I have, and we saw him play earlier off Clayton Kershaw where he barehanded, but you know, this is also great. This is where you're also grateful that they're bunting and he's getting the work in. And for Dave Roberts, for the coaching staff, but Howie as well, getting some work in, because some of these, it's hard to simulate that game or that type of bunt. You know, when you're in the backfield, yeah, sure, they'll do a slow roller and you're working on those things and the angle, but then all of a sudden, happening in the game, it's so different. So he gets challenged there and does a good job.
Navarro at second, back to the top of the order with 1 gone for Adam Eaton. Backs it foul.
So as far as offensive statistics not mattering here in spring, defensive plays do matter.
Well, for veteran guys, I mean, also they matter too when you're looking at a guy that can possibly be maybe your emergency third base. And that's why Howie's over there. He's not going to be your third baseman, but
I would agree that I would scout a guy more meticulously on his defense and say that can be repeated in the big league season than maybe the offense that you see here in Arizona.
Now you got an excellent point there, Earl.
Well, that's why you're sitting next to me.
just to tell you it was a good point. Tell you good point.
Here's Kershaw's 1-1. Eaton fouls it off 1-2. Last year, third, Turner made the bulk of the starts, more than half. Guerrero saw some time there. Howie Kendrick didn't start a game there, and in fact, as we mentioned, has only started 1 game at third base in his entire career. It was all the way back in 2006. Kershaw to Eaton with a 1-2. And Eaton slaps it to short. Hernandez will check the runner back. Can't throw him out.
You're also, you know, we saw that graphic there, and we saw Corey Seager over there 4 times last year. Well, Corey Seager is going to be the shortstop. They have no intention of moving him over there to third base, not at any time soon. You know, so they're going to watch him progress as your shortstop. So you got Kike, they're looking at being the shortstop, filling in for days that Seager's going to be off. So that's why you look at third base where it might be a revolving door when Turner, Turner will be the starter, but when he needs days off, they're checking out Howie, Chase, Utley over there.
Austin Jackson 0 for 2 today. 1 for 11 this spring. Strike 1.
But we also touched on, with Howie being over at second base and staying there consistently because of what Corey Seager won. Corey being a rookie, having a guy that's consistently over there, so you get comfortable with. But 2, also that veteran presence in Howie to help the rookie along the way. And up the middle. When Howie moves to third, it's hard for him to focus on the rookie because he's got to worry about what he's doing new over there. As compared to when at second base, it's no longer thinking for him anymore. It's just instinct, reaction.
Like riding a bike.
Absolutely. So he can focus on the young guy next to him and help him along the way. So it's impactful that he also stays over there at second consistently.
Kershaw to Jackson with a 1-1. It's fly to right. Noel paused at first, comes on and puts it away to end what is very likely Clayton Kershaw's final inning of the day. Tied at 2 as we go to the 6th. Got Alex Guerrero with a solo shot at the start of the 4th inning. A play that's worthy of a Carl's Cam replay. His second home run of the spring. Tied the game at 2. No bat to lead off this 6th against Chris Sale, who marches on deeper into this game than I think we probably thought we'd see him in his first Cactus League action officially of the spring. He's been thrown on the backfields, but his first true game that he's been in. We'll move on into the 6th and move past 80 pitches. Ball 1.
I wasn't going to be surprised if Chris Sale had a rough outing today with everything that's been in the news, what's going on in the White Sox clubhouse. He's been kind of at the epicenter of it after it got created with
Adam LaRoche
retiring because he wasn't going to be able to be around his son anymore and wouldn't have access to the locker room. And more than the locker room, the field and all the other places that his dad would go.
It all of a sudden, I mean, out of their camp, it just took, I mean, a different tone. All of a sudden, they were talking about how great it was in the clubhouse. And now this.
Yeah, this is what LaRoche said in his official statement on why he retired. Said he had to make a decision between his teammates and his career and his family. And decided to go with his family as Guerrero rounds out. The White Sox organization full of people with strong values and solid character. That the decision to retire had to do with a disagreement between him and the team president, Kenny Williams. And one thing that's come out since is that there were some promises made before LaRoche decided to sign with the White Sox that his 14-year-old son Drake could be around on close to an everyday basis. And there is some thinking that he probably wouldn't have signed with the White Sox had that not been the case. So as everybody tries to get more information, more details continue to come out. Chris Sale has continued to be vocal about it. We'll keep talking about that on the other side. A.J. Ellis catches a break. Chris Sale leaves the game right before he steps into the box. And instead of Chris Sale, four-time All-Star, it's a guy named Tyler Danish, 21-year-old from Brandon, Florida. He spent last year at Double-A. This is away, 1 ball and 1 strike on Ellis.
Well, Danish is a guy who's been coming through the minor league system, ran into a little adversity in 2015. One of the first times that all of a sudden the strikeouts went down, walks went up, but the stuff is still there. And that's part of the minor league development of anybody. That you got to get your ears pinned behind you every once in a while to figure out how you're going to adjust to it. Different levels of baseball coming up from rookie league, A-ball, Double-A, Triple-A. Every experience teaches you what you need to get better at.
Here's your second-round pick, 2013, out of Durant High School, Plant City, Florida. He retires Ellis, 2 away here in the 6th.
Well, Oral, you and I talk about so much how we like to see, and organizations like to see is guys, prospects or whoever, kind of fail in the minor leagues or have some struggle. Fail is not the right, more struggle in the minor leagues, because they want to see how you get out of them and how you adjust and what you do, because if they're going to bring you up to the big leagues, to think you're never going to struggle in the big leagues is crazy. So they want to know, they want you to know, and they want to know, are you going to be able to adjust or to minimize those struggles or make sure they don't snowball into something big.
This is 0-1 to Austin Barnes. Get into the hands. He's got some good movement on this stuff.
He has a real heavy sinker, and he has a really good tight slider that got the ground ball to Ellis. What happens as you go higher up in baseball is, for a pitcher, the hitters start to define to you what a good pitch is and what a mistake is. And you start to find out that that range is a little tighter at every level you go up. You also find out that you can't pitch in 2-1 and 3-1 counts. You just don't have enough ability to just kind of come back against AA, AAA, then big league hitters. You've got to pitch ahead. So different fundamentals of the game get pointed out to you a little bit more specifically.
Count goes full on Austin Barnes.
That pitch right there, Joe, that gets chased by a AA hitter. You know, that AA hitter is out right now. Austin Barnes, who's showing that he's going to be a good big league hitter, just took it.
That one gets him. Impressive stuff from Tyler Danish. Coming into the game for Chris Sale, gets Ellis to ground out and strikes out Austin Barnes. Keeping the game tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
Van Slyke, Howie Kendrick, their day is done, as is the day for ace Clayton Kershaw after 5 innings of work. It's Lewis Coleman on the hill for the Los Angeles Dodgers in relief of Clayton Kershaw, joined now by Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. And Skip, what did you see from Clayton today?
I thought he was really good. You know, he gave up a couple CNI singles, but he threw the ball well. We got his pitch. He got up to 71 pitches, and you know, anytime number 22 is out on the mound, it's a good thing.
No question about it. Howie Kendrick getting a start today at third base. Just one third base start in his major league career, but had 2 pretty good defensive plays over at the hot corner.
Yeah, you know what? You know, and seeing him take, you know, first of all, he was open to playing third base this winter, and to see his actions and to see him come in and make that play on the run was pretty special.
I appreciate your time, Skip. Thanks.
All right, anytime.
All right, guys.
All right, Alana, new pitcher into the game you mentioned is Lewis Coleman. And he gets Jose Abreu to start his outing. Brings it from that sidearm delivery, misses up, ball 1. Signed by the Dodgers this offseason, former Kansas City Royal. Replacing Kershaw here in the 6th. 2-0.
did a pitch track on Chris Sale from his angle throwing, and now you do one on Coleman. I mean, you got about a 15, 20-foot difference between where they released the ball.
The way he throws across his body. I mean, he spent majority of 2015 in the AAA with the Royals. He just had an 8-2 record with 9 saves and a 1.69 ERA. He's got some good movement. Tell you, I think having a sidearm guy in the bullpen is an asset to any club. An effective sidearm.
Yeah, it all starts with effective people, but once you can find effective pieces down there, changing arm angles, and of course changing sides, which arm you throw with. If you can get the left-handed changeup specialist like kind of a J.P. Howell, and then you got Luis Avilan with more of the breaking ball that's his out pitch from the left side. And you find some righties with their fireballers and split fingers that disappear a little bit. All of a sudden you've got different arm angles, different arms, the whole array of pitches and styles. Can give a challenge to the offensive side, the hitting coach and the manager trying to put up pinch hitters.
We talked about measuring sticks for the hitters today against two aces. This would be a good measuring stick inning for Lewis Coleman, getting Abreu, then Frazier, then Garcia. And he strikes out Abreu.
You watch Clayton Kershaw have 12 pitches to get Abreu out in his first at bat. And Coleman right here, he's got a right-hander with a breaking ball. Now it works away from the barrel of the bat, got him to chase.
A couple of defensive subs around Lewis Coleman. Sean Zaraga doing the catching for him now. And at the corners, Rob Sagadin is checked in. Cody Bellinger, the Dodgers first baseman. Here's Frazier, 1 for 2 with a double and a flyout. There's that nasty breaking pitch, strike one.
If you can make it break in Arizona and in Colorado, you can make it break at sea level.
No.
Back-to-back All-Stars greeting Lewis Coleman. Struck out Abreu. 1-1. Todd Frazier. He's 30 years old in his 6th big league season coming up here. First with the White Sox. Acquired in that 3-team deal that the Dodgers, Trace Thompson and Michael Johnson, Frankie Montas. Dodgers sending off Jose Peraza and Scott Schembler to Cincinnati. Here's Thompson. Two-1 from Coleman to Frazier. Up and in. 3 balls and a strike.
I like that pitch, though. Maybe not to get to 3-1 count, but that's a pitch that'll be a weapon for him to change eye line for the hitters that are thinking sidearm or down, 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 get on the slider, and then raise it up a little bit.
It definitely changes the sights for the hitter. Now, when you as a hitter coming up, you're facing a pitcher where you see the consistent movement, say from a sidearm, you're like, okay, I'm anticipating that tail, and I see that slider, and it's all come from down angle. I start setting my sights, and I start anticipating that's where the ball is coming. And all of a sudden, you get it up in the zone. It changes you up.
Breaking ball, dug at, lifted to center. Trace Thompson's got it. 2 up and 2 down for Coleman. Retiring Abreu and Frazier.
He didn't swing and miss at it, but he took the sting out of the bat with that breaking ball right there. There was a little flinch there in the swing when Frazier realized that ball was going to break.
So 2 down for Avi Garcia, who struck out his first time and then flied out to center in the 4th. Former LSU Tiger Lewis Coleman comes home with the first one to Garcia, and it's that slider breaking pitch. It snapped off for a strike. 0-1. Had a 1-year deal with the Dodgers the day that pitchers and catchers reported. Ready for an 0-1 pitch. Same thing.
You know, it's one thing that he's getting hitters out, sorry. but it's also watching the way they're swinging off him. You know, and you're seeing that out in front. They're not really they're not comfortable swings because of his deception and the movement on his pitches.
There's an 0-2. Fastball up.
Changing the eye line. You know, you see a lot of sweeping breaking balls from side armors that don't have good bite, but Coleman has a good hand discipline where not only is he coming from a low arm angle, but he's able to keep his fingers up and get to the top of the ball to make that ball bite down. A lot of these breaking pitches get flat.
Tailed down and gloved at third by Seguin. It's an impressive inning for Lewis Coleman. Meat of the White Sox order down in order. They tied at 2 after 6. Is brought to you by Carl's Jr. The $4 real deal. 4 items for just $4 at Carl's Jr. And Valenzuela. Third White Sox pitcher into the game, Zach Putnam, replacing Tyler Danish. We've reached that stage of the game where everybody has been replaced. It's the outfield, the corners, and the infield for the White Sox. Get you caught up on those changes as we track them all down. Trace Thompson comes up for the Dodgers, bottom third of the order doing this inning in a 2-2 game in the 7th. Thompson 0 for 2 today. Popped out on the infield his first time and then lined it sharply to left his second time up.
Well, Nomar, both you and I like Trace Thompson. What do you like about him? It's impressed you so far.
I like his he's been squaring the ball up obviously a lot this spring training, but you know, we've seen the athleticism in the outfield, but his approach, you know, he's not afraid. He's not just driving the ball to one part of the field and making outs. Like, he'll go the other way. He'll keep his hands in and drive it the other way.
Like that pitch right there.
Yeah, that one he just missed, got under it, but you can see the way it stayed inside the ball. And the ball kind of tailed on the inside, and he didn't pull off of that ball where you're trying to yank it. He got underneath it, but his hands, you can see the way the bat path was coming to that ball. They were in to out rather than casting that barrel outside.
Pulls the roller to the hole at short, circling around at Saladino. And a nice scoop at first by Travis Ishikawa, who's checked into the game. First down of this inning.
A lot of power in that body of Trace Thompson, too. 101 minor league home runs, so Not only can he play center field and wander around there, he can also play the corners, and he might end up having enough power to be on your roster to play a corner outfield position.
Matt Davidson also in now for the White Sox at third. Larry Garcia's in left. And Elian Herrera taking strike one from Putnam. A couple of ground outs to short for him today. Putnam's 0-1. Disappeared. 0-2. Former Indian, former Rocky, former Cub. 15 games spread across those three teams his first 3 seasons in the Bigs, but he strikes out Herrera. Picked up by Navarro, and he throws him out. Just 2 years, a full-time part of the White Sox bullpen. Had a really good year in 2014, did Putnam. Sub-2 ERA. Last year, not nearly as good. There's a theme for much of the White Sox bullpen. And an ERA above 4. There's Rico Noel. 1. You guys stay on top of our first mass substitution of the spring?
Just following your lead.
So no.
No.
Noel hits a fly ball to left center. Larry Garcia's got it, I think. Thanks for the help, guys. 1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers in the 7th. Stretch time, locked at 2. Two for the White Sox in the 2nd. Dodgers with single runs in the 3rd and the 4th. Tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Celebrate the legacy of Jackie Robinson Friday, April 15th, when the Dodgers take on the Giants at 7:10, where the first 40,000 fans in attendance get in an adult replica Jackie Robinson jersey. It's presented by Bank of America. You can visit Dodgers.com/promotions for more information. Kenley Jansen comes into the game. 3rd Dodgers pitcher after Kershaw. And Lewis Coleman with a 1-2-3 frame. Now it's one of the top closers in the game, facing Brett Lawrie, who hits a fly ball to right. And Rico Noel's got it. 1 pitch, 1 out.
I'll tell you, I was impressed with Lewis Coleman. I mean, what not only just the numbers from a good inning, but gosh, the pitches he had, the deception, and I'm sure he's getting a really good look by the Dodgers staff.
We've talked so much about the depth of the Dodger roster, pitching staff, and possible bullpen pieces. There's There's a lot of choices that can be made.
There's Jerry Sands. RBI single his first time, then grounded out to short. Jansen starts him with a strike. Fifth appearance this spring for Kenley Jansen. 2 runs allowed in his 4 innings of work. Facing the former Dodger Sands. 1-1. Entering his 7th big league season. His 5th with time as a closer. And knocking on the door quietly of Eric Gagne for the club record. 142 saves in his time in a Dodger uniform. Record sits at 161 for Eric Gagne.
And no matter what pieces end up in the bullpen, we know who's going to be at the end of the game and who's going to get the saves. That pressure is going to fall on this man's shoulders. Going into a free agent year, looking for another big year. And Kenley Jansen is the constant. You can see, you mentioned Joe, Eric Gagne, and he's creeping up against him. Those are single season saves. But Kenley can get re-signed here, and we would love to get him back. I hope he wants to come back after another good year, hopefully with a World Series ring at the end of this year. He'd be bumping up as the best Dodger all-time closer.
Sands with a rocket to left. Herrera plays on a bounce. So 1-out single for Jerry Sands. Eric Gagne's name all over that list of the single season saves leaders in Dodgers history. Did you see the notes in the game notes today that he's managing Team France in the World Baseball Classic qualifiers and led the French team to its first ever win last night in the World Baseball Classic?
Wow.
I don't know how to say good job in French.
No, I don't either. Oral?
No.
0 for 3.
Somebody will send it to us.
Swing and a miss from Omar Narvaez. As a defensive replacement for Leonardo Navarro.
You might not be able to say that in French, but I can sure drink French wine.
I'm thinking I'm going to learn to with you guys. What bank is that from?
The left bank or the right bank of the Bordeaux?
Kenley already off to a better start this year. Last season had that off-season foot surgery. Missed the first month and a half. Getting spring under his belt this year, and hoping that gets through another couple weeks here healthy. Enters the season in a much better place than he did 2015.
It's a rarity that you talk about somebody as accomplished as Kenley, that they're still learning how to pitch, but he is still progressing as a pitcher every year. Parts of the plate that he'll attack, where he'll throw his cutter now, inside and outside, actually mixing in his breaking ball a little bit more when all of a sudden he might see a team more than once in a series, putting something in the back of their mind, maybe when he has a 2 or a 3-run lead. Becoming a savvy veteran.
He's made it easy to forget that team signed him as a catcher back in 2005 out of Curacao.
The other thing we've seen him grow is early on, it seemed like it took him a batter or two to kind of get that velocity up to, like it was like he wasn't just ready to come in and get, challenge the first batter.
Strikes out Narvaez.
Hey, you're right, Nomar. Almost like a starter where you got to get them early, because once they find their rhythm and they start to get into it, but as a short reliever, as a save guy, you've got to be on it like now.
We've seen that. We've seen him make that adjustment.
But he's a teddy bear in person, and he has to put a game face on when he comes into these situations. The 9th inning and 1-run lead, because that is not his normal personality.
Tyler Saladino, one of the only starters still in the game for the White Sox. Shortstop, 9-hitter, 1 for 2 today. Jansen brings the first one to him, and Saladino swings and drives it in the air to deep left center. Back on it as Thompson turns, and it's gone. And Saladino has broken the 2-2 tie with his third home run of the spring.
As good as you can be, as much as they swing and miss, still when you make mistakes, big league hitters make you pay, and Kenley knows that. And this one paid the price. Put the White Sox on top, 4-2.
Jacob May bats for the first time. And is ahead of the count 2-0. His numbers in the minor leagues last year. Wholesale substitutions for Robin Ventura defensively in the top half of this inning, and so these players now getting their first ABs of the game against the Dodgers closer Kenley Jansen, who falls behind 3 balls and no strikes on May.
This is part of that adrenaline rush, Nomar, you're talking about, of getting it going as soon as you get up, and then also getting it going in this situation. Here we are in spring training in the 7th inning, just getting an inning of work, and you give up a dinger, and then you fall behind 3-0. That's something you know you're not going to do in the regular season.
And a 4-pitch walk puts May on.
A lot of candidates here in spring that could fill the bullpen behind Kenley Jansen. Carlos Frias, Pedro Baez, Yimi Garcia, those 3 young righties. I think for the Dodgers to have a successful bullpen this year, somebody's going to have to make a step forward out of that group. Chris Hatcher, a good second half, especially September at the end of the year when he came back from the DL, really starting to figure it out. Luis Coleman, we just saw throw that sinker and slider, also has a chance to break with the club.
And those are just the right-handed options.
Right. Or correct.
Yeah, yeah, well done.
You got to believe that J.P. Howell is going to be on the club, and you got to believe Luis Avilan, the way he threw the ball after coming over from Atlanta last year, is going to be on the club. Some other lefties that are probably going to be in the mix. Adam Libator and Ian Thomas. We're going to have a semi-big league staff in AAA.
They had that last year. I mean, remember all the transactions that the Dodgers had last year?
Competition is good. It is good. Keeps you on your toes.
It's good, and I'm sure if you're one of those guys that are on the bubble or on the fringe of AAA and the big leagues, I mean, from what they saw, or if you're paying attention for what they saw last year, that there's a chance you can get called up at any moment.
And you also, like, when you think there's no chance, you have to watch your intensity, because you're not only pitching to be on this ball club, you're pitching for the other guys. All other, 25 clubs are watching.
First time up there for Jason Coates. Runner takes off. Throw down from Zaraga bounces in, and a stolen base for Jacob May.
Zaraga did a nice job getting rid of a ball that was very awkward to handle, and he knew he was going to have to rush the throw because there was such a good jump over there at first base. Not an easy pitch to throw on. You see that, and he abbreviates his stride. He bounces it down there to make sure he gets it on line. Did a nice job.
Kenley Jansen to Jason Coates with a 2-0. Strike one. Not a ton of change to the bullpen during the offseason. Andrew Friedman has said part of the reason is they are big believers in some of the guys you mentioned, like Yimi Garcia, like Pedro Baez, Chris Hatcher. You mentioned was so good after coming back from the injury last year, solidifying that setup role for Jansen. They've got one of the best in the business as their coach, Rick Honeycutt. 2-2 to Coates.
You see the pitch count for Kenley now at 20, and part of that intensity that you talked about, Nomar, of him coming out of the bullpen and getting right after it and getting people out right away, was not only good for competition, but it was good at keeping his pitch count down last year. Instead of having these 20, 22 pitch innings, getting out and having saves in like 13, 14 pitches.
Coates attacks one that was about face high. Yeah, flies it into center. Thompson is there to retire the side. Well, Thompson's replacement is there at least. We're at 64. Roster's too long to look. With like 5 seconds before I got to send it to commercial. Let you know who it is on the other side. Tyler Saladino's 2-run homer, the 7th, has broken the tie, and the White Sox in front 4-2 on Clayton Kershaw's birthday. What'd you guys see?
Intensity, execution, excellent pitcher, and he was on his game. The slider there disappearing. Again, there disappearing right out of the strike zone. When he gave up a couple runs, the blemish, it was because of some seeing eye ground balls, but he was locked and loaded and did an outstanding job.
When you have that slider, I mean, looking at it, it looked just like his fastball coming out of his hand. And sometimes even when you see it on TV, it's hard to say, was that the slider or was that just a fastball that he just threw in the dirt? But no, it's a slider because it looks exactly the same, and that's the way the hitters are looking at it too. And he gets a lot of swings and misses.
Corey Brown leading off this inning against Tommy Kahnle, fourth White Sox pitcher today.
Visually, Nomar, when that slider disappears for us on TV, visually for the hitter, is it a tighter dot? Is it a dot that you really can't pick up and know it's a breaking ball?
Yeah, it usually is a little tighter with the spin. And then it's also just the fact that when he releases it, it's in the same spot as his fastball that he's released. Like his curveball, when he releases, you can kind of see it kind of go up and then it comes down. The slider, and it comes out of his hand like a fastball, but then it's on the same trajectory as his fastball as well. And you're trying to pick up the spin. It's definitely tighter, but there's also no loopiness to it. It just kind of goes down. There's no kind of breaking away and then coming back around. Nothing like that.
Here's Cody Bellinger. Taking strike one. Final line on Kershaw, by the way, guys. 5 innings, gave up 2 runs on 6 hits, no walks. Struck out 4. So now this spring, 15 innings, 3 runs allowed. Highly touted first baseman prospect. Strength for him is the glove. Bit of a fielding first baseman as there is in the minors right now. It's an 0-2. Strike 3.
You know, this is a hole in a young man's swing that maybe the big league pitchers are going to attack an awful lot when he gets up here. He has that high back elbow and a little bit of an uppercut. It's hard to catch up to those high fastballs, though.
That it is. And you know, that's what's great, because that's what it's all about. It's the adjustment that both sides have to make, the pitcher and the hitter.
Rob Segedin now taking a strike. First season in the organization. Former Yankees farmhand. And has had a nice spring for the Dodgers. Tony Kahnle comes home. And it drops out of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just got word over the PA here in the press box. This is the largest Camelback Ranch crowd of the spring. 3rd consecutive sellout here. Second and fouls off. And a 22. White Sox get credit for it, though, because they're the home team today. But like you said, Oral, Dodgers road attendance, which is always up near the top of baseball.
Yep.
Gets credit. But spring numbers don't matter. So throw this attendance out. Segedin down on strikes. And this White Sox bullpen has been good today. 9 up and 9 down since Sale left the game. Bottom of the 8th inning, back in Glendale. White Sox in front of the Dodgers 4-2. MLB.TV Premium is everything you've come to expect and more this year with a new low price. You can watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. 4th Dodger pitcher of the day, guys, is J.P. Howell. He delivers his first pitch. It's bunted up the third base side. Segedin bare hands and throws him out. What a play by Rob Segedin. It was shifted towards the middle part of the diamond.
What a great play by Segedin. Compared to when you're coming from third. I mean, look at the angle he has to take. So his body is going toward the third base line away and still make that strong throw across the body as compared to just coming down the line. The momentum kind of going toward home plate and throw it across your body. That was incredible athleticism by Segedin.
Great reaction from J.P. Howell, too. You saw him say, wow. Matt Davidson stands in and takes ball 1. First at bat for him. Replaced Todd Frazier defensively in the 7th. Former Arizona Diamondback farmhand. Having a good spring, hitting above 400 for Chicago. A walk-off home run earlier this spring. Waits on this 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. J.P. Howell exercised that 1-year player option to stay with the Dodgers for a 4th season. After starting his career with Kansas City, then with Tampa Bay from 06 to 09. Took some time off with a torn labrum in 2010. 2 more seasons in Tampa, and then joined the Dodgers in 2013, 3-1.
You talked about his reaction from Seguin's play. You will never wonder what JP is feeling. He is very outgoing with his emotions on the mound. He gives it everything he has in every outing, every pitch. And he wears his emotions on his sleeve. You will see it.
Yeah, quietly, guys, over his 3 years with the team, he's got an ERA of 1.97. And among pitchers in Dodgers history, with a minimum 200 games, that's the best.
He's done a great job while putting on that Dodger uniform.
Hard hit, base hit for Davidson to left.
And we pumped up Kenley when he was out, and you're talking about how good he's been, and then home run. Now we're pumping up J.P. Howell, base hit. We got to stop, guys.
Yeah.
You're going to light things. You're going to light Twitter up.
Yeah. Yeah. Dodgers broadcast jinx. Get that during basketball, and I do it doing free throws. Say a guy's a 90% free throw shooter, clank every time, no fail. I was doing a game a couple weeks ago and did that. The arena was quiet. I said something like, "This guy's not missed during Big Ten play." And I kid you not, the arena was so quiet. So the guy misses the free throw and then looks directly over at the table as if he had heard me, and it was my fault that he missed the free throw. I wanted to hide under the table. There's a 1-0 to Larry Garcia. J.P. Howell. Piece of his foot.
How's that feel, Mark?
Let me go get a hammer and let you know. Show you.
I don't need any examples.
If you're just joining us, Solano reported earlier that Andre Ethier's x-rays were negative from yesterday after he fouled a ball off his shin. You know, it'll take some time off to recover, but it is just a contusion. And really good news. Garcia with a liner to short that's caught by Charlie Culberson. Been in the game for a couple innings now at short.
Charlie Culberson, that one was a routine line drive, but we've seen this spring some of the plays he has made when he comes in, going to his right, to his left, sliding. We talk about the young guys. A lot of it's, if you may not break with the club, but it's about leaving an impression. So if there's ever a need that you want to leave an impression where you're the first thing in their mind.
Culberson, a former first-round pick. The Giants back in 07. Spent a little bit of time with them in his debut. Last few years, though, with the Rockies. Carlos Sanchez bats for the first time. Takes ball one from J.P. Howell. mentioned Culberson trying to make an impression, trying to do it bouncing back from an injury that limited him to just a handful of games total last year. Had a bulging disc in his back. Played only 5 games. We're all in AAA. Sanchez pops it up in his direction. Culberson makes the call and the catch to put an end to this 8th inning. Scoreless frame of work for J.P. Howell. Last chance for the Dodgers, down 4-2. Battle in that sunshine today. Bright and sunny. High 80s into the low 90s today. He's braving it out. 9th inning. 4-2 game with the White Sox in front, courtesy Tyler Saladino's 2-run homer in the 7th. Sox got the first 2 runs of the game back in inning number 2 against Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers got single runs in the 3rd and in the 4th. Triple from Howie Kendrick. Solo home run from Alex Guerrero. One more change for the White Sox on the mound. Famous last words, I guess. I shouldn't say one last change. But the guy that comes in to start the 9th is Matt Lolis, who pitched last year at AA Birmingham. He posted a 3.53 in his 47 games. Brandon Hicks set to lead things off for the Dodgers.
I don't care if you're pitching in AA and then you all of a sudden get into a big league spring training game and you have a 4-2 game and you get the 9th. You got a chance to make an impression. You got some butterflies flying around saying this is the first of hopefully a lot of different opportunities for me to show that I can pitch in the big leagues.
Starts Brandon Hicks with a fastball down and away, 1-0. We're back tomorrow, guys, for Dodgers Padres. It'll be Mike Bolsinger that'll take the ball, and he's trying to be the answer to one of the prevailing questions this spring. That is, who is the 5th starter in the Dodgers rotation when they break camp just a couple of weeks from now. Bolsinger's been impressive and kind of looks like maybe making a case to be the front runner as we head into the final 2 weeks of the spring.
Yeah, I think Mike will sleep tonight thinking, you know, have a good solid outing and really kind of write his name into that 5th hole and erase any doubts and maybe try to start stopping any competition that could be out there.
Brandon Hicks with a sharp single into left center. Well, hold the phone. He rounded, thought about 2, will head back with a base hit to begin this 9th.
It's a good job being aggressive, Brandon Hicks. It's a nice swing on that. Lines it. Staying on that ball, down and in. Keeping his head on it. You know, taking what Maury Wills always teaches out there in base running. Think about the next base you already know that you have, and he was thinking about it.
So the Dodgers bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Sean Zaraga here in the 9th, and he's out in front of the first one from Lolis. You mentioned Bolsinger will go tomorrow. Dave Roberts has said recently that at this point Bolsinger and Beachy and Lee seem to be the guys battling for that 5th spot. Beachy struggled yesterday, gave up the 6 runs over 2+. Zach Lee started a few days ago as well. Was okay. Bolsinger pretty sharp most of the spring.
And Mike was a savior to the staff last year. He really had fallen on some hard times with injuries and needing somebody to step up. And Mike came in his first 6 or 7 starts last year and really solidified his spot in the rotation. And then kind of had some fatigue there at the end of the year, and maybe even a little lack of confidence at times, where he really got hit around so much that he actually started to wear it a little bit. And he's regained his confidence and his stuff with the rest over the winter. And it looks like he's back on his game.
3 separate big league stints last year. Came up in late April to make 1 start. He was one of the 16 guys to make a start for the Dodgers last year. It led the majors. Zaraga bounces one to second. Morales goes to second one, and Anderson back to first for the double play. The 4-6-3 wipes him clean, and the Dodgers down to their last hope here in the ninth.
Yeah, that was a really nice double play turned by the White Sox there, because that ball with the chopper wasn't hit hard, and they had to get up the middle. They had to get rid of it so quickly. Here's that ball. See, it's kind of had the high hop. He stayed, get his body in position, and both from the second baseman to the shortstop, the exchange glove to hand.
There's got to be a lot less anxiety there playing short or second with the new rules, too. That's the ball when you know the runner's going to be closer to you because it's chopper. So and that could be a 1-out play in the olden days sometimes, because you're like, I'm going to get killed. So you just get out of there. But now you're able to keep your feet under you and make a strong throw to first.
Get me started on that rule?
Not right now. We have plenty of season ahead of us. Elvis Morales hacks at it, fouls it off 1-1. I just know you need a better platform than 2 outs in the 9th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 1 out in the first with 8 innings to go is
right. We'll go grab some coffee and
let Nomar go.
Let him go. He's a highly touted prospect that turned that Tim Anderson at short. White Sox are waiting to get ready to take over that spot that Alexi Ramirez has been in for so long. Of course, Jimmy Rollins signed recently, battling for that position with Tyler Saladino. But those guys, a lot of people think, are placeholders for Tim Anderson. Still young, still developing, not quite ready to break in yet. Dodgers down to their final strike. Elvis Morales with a 1-2 count against Matt Lolis. Navarez sets over the inside part, and Lolis, this is in 2-2. Guys, 1 down. Hopefully many more with you. Thanks for not picking on me too much.
It's a good day, Joe.
Yeah.
It's nice to be with you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, likewise. In the air to left. Garcia, and that will bring an end to this Saturday afternoon with the White Sox taking a 4-2 win. Our Lexus play of the game is the one that decided it. Tyler Saladino's 2-run homer against Kenley Jansen, breaking the 2-2 tie in the 7th inning to give the White Sox this win, moving to 9-7 with 1 tie on the spring. Dodgers have dropped 3 in a row this spring now. They're 10-6 with a pair of ties. Teams will play one more time. The final week of this Cactus League schedule. That does it for this one. For Nomar Garcia-Parra, Will Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, Clayton Kershaw on his 28th birthday. Joe Davis saying so long from Camelback Ranch. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Dodgers and Padres, same place, same time. Have a good one.